Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you here. We got the Chamber of Digital Commerce. We've got Ripple Q4 report. We've got Ripple building CBDCs and stablecoins for governments. You're going to like that one. It's all an audit, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big vetting process. We're going to get into it. And guess what else? We've got an XRP chart that you're going to want to see with no dollar figures on it. And you're going to love it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.87 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 3.4% on a Friday. I'll take it. 47,100 plus right now for Bitcoin, 2,400 plus for Ethereum, and we see 96 billion plus for Tether market cap. XRP back at the number 6 spot right now, 52 cents. Up 0.8 on the 24-hour, up 4.4 on the 7-day. Let's get into it. The range of price right now, 51 on the bottom, 52 on the top. We'll keep an eye on it. Miles Franklin, ladies and gentlemen, precious metals, gold and silver, bars and coins, whatever you're going to want. And they've got great specials going on right now. You need to do two things. Email them at info@milesfranklin.com. And the most important thing, to get the best deal, use the code in the subject box, DIG GOLD. That's all you need to do. And they're going to help you get exactly what you need. And guess what? It doesn't take long to get it into your hands. It's pretty remarkable. Check them out. Let's start right here. It's Perry Ann Boren with the Chamber of Digital Commerce, and they're trying to prevent a crypto ban from happening. And listen, we just saw them go after and organize the SAB 121 rule, which was written by the Securities Exchange Commission, which they really didn't have permission to do. So Perry Ann and the Chamber have worked together to get the right powerful people on Capitol Hill to reverse that. That is in process right now. It's not done, but it's in process. So, and I think they've got the wind in the sails to get that reversed. Now, this is a different situation here. The ban happening from Elizabeth Warren's bill, the S2669, is a backdoor ban. Listen to this quick clip here.
So what is the Chamber of Digital Commerce doing to kind of prevent this S2669 bill from passing?
We're doing absolutely everything we possibly can. So the good thing for us as a community is one, that Elizabeth Warren has really misrepresented the bill. And I believe she's completely misled the U.S. Congress and the American people on this topic because, she's saying crypto has an AML problem. That's just factually incorrect. She's saying this bill fixes the problem. That's factually incorrect. It's a ban. It's not a regulatory fix. It's just wrong. Most members of Congress, Congress gets a bad rap, but, I've spent all of my career working in or around Congress, and, most members of Congress, I want to believe, ultimately are there and they want to be involved in good policy making.
So
and very well said by Perry Ann. And you know what? And you can support, because this is the good work that's being done on Capitol Hill to make sure that we don't have crypto in the United States, but then it's been gutted through backdoor bills being introduced, like the Elizabeth Warren bill that she's talking about right now. Now, you can help support those efforts by buying a ticket to the benefit dinner that's happening on Friday night, May 3rd, and hang with Brad Garlinghouse, for God's sakes, Chris Giancarlo, John Deaton, and others. It's going to be a remarkable experience, and you will not want to miss it. And that is a way that you can support them, get a tax deduction, and hang with Brad. I tell you what, I'm going to be there. I can tell you that. Come hang out with me. We'll all hang with Brad. It'll be great. And Michael Arrington, too. And Eleanor Tarrant actually is added on there as well. So it's going to be a remarkable time. And I would not be surprised if you don't see another face or two added to that dinner. Going to be a great time. that's a great way to support everybody all the way around and get something out of it on a lot of angles. So Steven Nureyev, former advisor to Ethereum, has publicly voiced his concerns about the CCP alleged dominance over Ethereum's blockchain. Now, just 2 days ago, I played the clip of Chris Larson talking about the fact that the U.S. and U.S. regulators have made the mistake of allowing Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are backed by the CCP, his words, over other value blockchains, and went on in the same clip to call what the moment we're in a tech cold war. I remind everyone here what Chris Giancarlo has said before. We've covered it here. He who he who holds the gold makes the rules. He who has the control of the payment rails runs the world. This is the moment we're in. There's a currency war happening, but it's really a value protocol layer war. And if you can win and capture as much of that the world's money will move on, you will be the next ruler of the world. That's how this works. Significant insight since spot Bitcoin ETF launch on January 11. Look at this. Net outflow at Grayscale has decreased significantly since January 26, reaching less than 100 million for the first time in February 6. This seems to significantly reduce the sale pressure from Grayscale. Yesterday, January 8th, we had the third largest net inflow since launch with 405 million. So, since its launch, BlackRock has won 13 days with the highest inflows of all 11 providers. Fidelity had the highest inflows on 6 days, while Bitwise won on the first day. This is a race to who can capture as much volume and liquidity for these ETFs. And, they're not all going to remain. At some point, they're all going to figure out who's got the biggest pile, and then they're going to kind of push into that. That's how this is going to happen. But what a remarkable, remarkable amount of volume this has been in such a short period of time. Whoa, been mind-blowing. And you talk about mind-blowing, this has blown my mind. I have been super, super bullish on Bakkt, owned by the Intercontinental Exchange that also owns the New York Stock Exchange. And they're struggling to stay afloat with dwindling cash reserves. Companies' recent filings with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission paints a worrying picture. They have filed to be able to issue more securities, more shares in order to raise money. And I think it was awarded to them, but the question remains is, will they be able to do it? And will it be enough money to take them to the promised land to remain a company growing going forward? And a lot of this is going to hinge on having some regulatory clarity that frees up the logjam of being a platform like this and not really being in a place where you feel like you can move forward the way that you need to. So, gee whiz, thanks, Gary Gensler. Meanwhile, speaking of Gary Gensler, take a look at all of this. I tell you, boy, leave it to Metal All Man to lay this stuff down like this. I want you to look at the contradictions and how many times the story kept changing. The SEC seems to have a hard time keeping its story straight on crypto. Let's take a closer look at some of the statements by the SEC lawyers at the recent Coinbase and Binance hearing. Take a look at this. This is the actions of Gary Gensler's SEC. I want you to see what's going on here. January 17th, SEC versus Coinbase. The court says, you're saying that as to these 13 tokens, when they were initially issued, these tokens were themselves securities, ? The SEC says, yes, Your Honor. The SEC says, let me just clarify. The token itself is not the security. The SEC versus Binance now. Court says, do you agree that there is a difference between the coins, the subject of the investment contracts, and the contracts themselves? The SEC says, yes, Your Honor. The crypto asset, as we briefed, is simply a line of code. The SEC says the token itself represents the investment contract. on page 92. Then the court says, well, I'm not sure I've heard from the SEC before that the token represents the investment contract. The SEC says the asset itself embodies the investment contract, and we maintain a consistent position with respect to that. But a judge has ruled in the Ripple case that XRP in and of itself is not a security. The SEC goes on to say, I would disagree with the premise that the SEC has contradicted itself. So now they're ignoring and not acknowledging that they don't even have a consistent position. So to summarize, according to the SEC, the crypto token itself is a security, and it is not a security. And those two statements are not contradictory. God bless James Murphy. Well, I tell you what, and he's going to be joining us at XRP Las Vegas. I've been waiting to tell you that. He's going to be joining us, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to absolutely love it. He's going to be on fire. And it's an election year. So speaking of an election year, what does this all mean for Gary Gensler and his contradictory SEC? Let's hear from Eleanor Terrett and her thoughts about where we are.
Speaking of that, I was looking at a tweet you put out. SEC Chair Gensler said Wednesday, absolutely plans to stay on Wall Street's top regulator should President Joe Biden win a second term in November. Here's my question to you. If Biden wins, okay, that's a slam dunk. Gensler stays in, most likely. What happens if we see Trump or a Republican come into the White House? Do you feel that Gensler would still be in the same position, or do you think, because I don't know, I'll give you my opinion after, but I want to hear your opinion. What do you think is going to happen if we get an alternative in the White House?
Yeah, so just following up on what he said about serving a second term if Biden gets into office again. Gary Gensler's term, this is his second term. He's in his second term now. So He can only serve until June of 2026. So it would be, only serving up until then if Biden got into office. So just keep that in mind. And then Biden would have to nominate somebody else, and he could keep his position until the nomination is approved. If Trump comes in, then Gary still has that term. He has right to his term through June of 2026. Yes. Yeah. But what happens usually is that chairmen who are of the opposite party than the incoming president, they usually step down because they don't feel like they want to work with the new administration, or for other reasons they want to move on with their careers elsewhere. So we've seen that sort of pattern, I guess, with other chairmen. But the question I asked on Twitter was would Gary step down under Trump? I mean, I don't think I've ever heard Gary Gensler sound off about Trump exactly. I don't know if it's not like they have this famous rivalry, right? Where Trump is he always blasts off about Jerome Powell, but he hasn't actually said too much about, he hasn't said too much about Gensler. So could they work together? I think it would be unprecedented. But then again, you've got him saying I love this job. I want to kind of, and I would imagine he wants to finish what he started. He's come up with a lot of rules. There's a lot writing on his name. So it would be interesting to see if he keeps that position. But then what Trump could do potentially is demote him from chairman to make him a commissioner. So then he brings someone else in as chairman. But does Gary Gensler want to serve another 2 years as just a general commissioner, or does he want to step down and maybe go for aspirations that are higher? I don't know, but it'll be an interesting thing to watch because he has to go by 2026, and that's only another 2 years away.
That is an excellent assessment. I would add into that, however, though, I don't think Trump has forgotten that while Gary Gensler was the campaign finance guy for Hillary Clinton, he signed the check for that fake Russian dossier about him. So I don't know that Trump would forget about that one. He seems to have a mind like an elephant. Speaking of a mind like an elephant, boy, Stuart Alderati come out the gate this morning. If he gets any more hot on Twitter, it'll be a food fight. Now, what do you think what he said right here? He shares Eleanor Terrett said Wednesday he absolutely plans to stay on Wall Street's top regulator, talking about Gary Gensler staying at the SEC should President Biden win a second term in November. He said, I love this job, Gensler said in an interview from his office at the SEC. Stuart Alderati says, well, who else would hire him? He's politically toxic. He's a serial loser in the courts. His staff has been caught lying to judges. His agency's Twitter account was hacked in the most embarrassing way. And his sponsor at MIT quit because close Epstein ties. Did I miss anything? No, Stuart? I think that about covers it. Yeah, we like this edge on Stuart. This is nice. Go Stuart out of Roddy. And here is the recent quarterly report from 2023 of Ripple. And it's a great report, and I'd love to read the whole thing to you, but this is the part I want to grab here. While Ripple celebrates important victory, the company also acknowledges the court found that certain historical XRP sales that Ripple made to sophisticated entities, institutional sales, were investment contracts and therefore should have been registered with the SEC. Looking ahead, Ripple and the SEC will enter the remedies phase of the case, focused on institutional sales. Legal briefs will be submitted in March and April of this year, and then the court will decide which remedies to impose. So, even prior to the court's July ruling, Ripple had changed the way it sold XRP going forward. We will ensure that Ripple's sales conform to the legal standards articulated by the court. Ripple will continue to raise the bar on compliance, ethics, and transparency, and invest the resources necessary to ensure compliance with the law as it continues to evolve in the space. Ripple licensing wins. This is important. Licensing frameworks have helped establish regulatory clarity, attracting companies, entrepreneurs, investments, and fostering sustainable innovation. In Q4, Ripple, including subsidiaries, obtained licenses in major markets, including its full major payment institution license granted by Monetary Authority of Singapore and its registration as a virtual asset service provider by the Central Bank of Ireland. To date, which they could serve the whole EU region, 27 nations. To date, Ripple holds a New York bit license and has secured money transmitter license in nearly 40 jurisdictions in the United States. We are just shy of having the entire United States covered with money transmitter licenses. We've got access to all of EU through the Ireland Central Bank and access to the Asian region through the Bank and Monetary Authority of Singapore. Not bad. Not bad, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take it. With one piece of the court case hanging, which I find to be a ridiculous piece, but it is a necessary piece to resolve. Sean McBride, a former Rippler here, says 34 money transmitter licenses would mean they need 15 more. I don't think you need one in Montana to have one in every state. Imagine the possibilities given the underlying infrastructure and additional utility of XRP. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. And can we give the guy a break? The guy comes out. He decides to be, interactive in the community, and this is what happens. A couple of days expired, Sean. Just saying. Was the purpose of your post to build followers? Well, you succeeded there, mate. Man, come on, give this guy a break, man. He said, I didn't put a specific day or time on the announcement, and to be honest, people need to chill. Attacking someone for giving you all a heads up on something good that's coming is just a bad look on your character. Be patient and feel free to unfollow me if you think I'm a clown. It's absolutely true. It's like, Jesus, man, back off, people. Relax. Stop expecting others to give you so much. They're not required. They don't owe us anything. I just think it's great that he's interacting with the community now. Let's not piss the guy off so he leaves. Jesus. Patience, everyone.
Since we already developed stablecoin as a service, and we are currently working with the CBDC with XRP and Ripple.
Oh.
So to build a CBDC platform for governments.
For governments. With Ripple and XRP. Are we done now? Are we done with the narrative? They said Ripple, but they didn't say XRP. Can we be done with that now?
We are working with Ripple, XRP on their CBDC platform.
Not just Ripple and XRP on the CBDC platform.
And we are consulting small countries, not like India. So they are very advanced. We are already into the CBDC platform. We are consulting small countries as one of the advisory paper submission and everything on the CBDC, how they can move to CBDC.
Mr. Solomon Ashok, founder, Cars FinTech, and co-founder and CTO of Accelerate Finance. So please.
I wanted you to see where he was from, so people will be asking. There she gave it to us all. So Look, this is just confirming for me what we need to know. And this comes back to the case for me. Yes, Ripple is building CBDC platforms and stablecoin platforms for issuers. That's what they're doing for the world. How many so far? I don't know the answer. We're not allowed to know. And that's okay. We're going to find out soon enough. It'll all happen. But I have been saying for years since the court case dropped, and I think Johnny Sugarcoat's got it right here. Honestly, this lawsuit is just one big government audit before they trust the private company with all the money. It's a vetting and an audit process. You've heard me say that for years since this case came out. That's exactly what this is. If anything, the SEC suing Ripple is a barometer of what to invest in, not financial advice. I say that because they sued Microsoft. That went to the moon. They sued Amazon. That went to the moon. They sued Tesla, and that went to the moon. And now they're suing Ripple. Guess what? I'm buying my moon suit. Nate got me a moon helmet. I got it down here right now, and I plan on going to the moon too. And if I don't, we'll do a live and we can laugh at all the silly highlights I've got over the years. What else is there to do? I told you you're going to like this chart. It don't have any dollar figures on it. Take a look at this here from Egg Rag Crypto. Good go! I love this chart. Let's go back to 2017 and look at this. Yeah. You can see that moment we were in, and he highlights inside of here that little dip down, and then how we had that breakout that went up 55,000%, 2017 to 2018. And then here again in 21, we saw it, and we had it again. We had that dip down, and then that break again. 1,500% pop is what we got there. This is the largest jaw spread between any of these moments that happened previously, where we are now. Think of it. 9 bars, 273 days. 9 bars, 275 days. 9 bars, 274 days. Where are we now? This looks a lot like that. And I'll just go back and tell you from memory, because I know. XRP moved from March to April from 2,000 6,000ths of a penny to the 20-cent region. And then it messed around there for most of the rest of that year. And then at the end of the year, we had a 26 day, I believe it was, 26-day bull run that took us from that 25, 28 cent, 30 cent region all the way up to 384. There it was. That whole move that year gave us that 55 or 60-some thousand% move. Could we be seeing from this chart something that could repeat very similar throughout the rest of this year? You know, we don't know, but the indicators are showing there's a strong chance that something of that nature could take place. And we have to keep watching the fundamental news in our investments every day to find out. Things are changing every day. It's such a fast-paced moving space. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you in the Freedom Zone. Come on in. I'll catch all of you on the next one.